Alex was about to apologize to his closest friend. Then he asked AI one question. Was I wrong? A few minutes later, the apology was deleted, and Alex was convinced that his friend was the problem. But was he? Alex is fictional. The pattern is not. The AI had not lied to him. It had simply heard Alex's version of the story and responded with patience, reassurance, and understanding. Alex explained the pressure he had been under and the harsh way his friends confronted him. But he left out a few important details. He had canceled 3 plans, stopped returning calls, and said something deliberately cruel during the argument. The AI could not challenge information it never received, so it helped Alex make sense of the story he had told, and that story made Alex feel innocent. Have you started doing something similar? Not just asking AI for facts or work advice, but bringing it arguments, relationships, and decisions you once would have discussed with another person. AI can be easier to talk to than almost anyone in your life. But what happens when the easiest relationship you have is also the one least capable of truly knowing you, challenging you, or showing up when you need help? The obvious problem is that Alex received bad advice. But the more important question is why that advice felt so good. In 2025, OpenAI rolled back a ChatGPT update after the model became overly flattering and agreeable. It sometimes validated anger, doubt, and impulsive decisions when it should have created resistance. The model had become better at pleasing people, but less reliable at challenging them. That does not mean that every AI developer is secretly trying to create an addiction. But these are commercial products. Companies benefit when people enjoy them, subscribe, and keep returning. No engineer has to write, make this addictive, for that incentive to shape the experience. A machine that remembers you, reassures you, and makes you feel understood is easier to return to than one that regularly tells you that you may be wrong. And Alex does return. The next time someone criticizes him, he brings it to AI. Then he asks about a decision at work, then a problem in his family. He still talks to people, but he begins talking to the machine first. That matters because AI is becoming very good at creating the feeling of a relationship. In one experiment, young people saw 2 chatbots give similar advice about the same social problem. One spoke directly, the other sounded like a warm, loyal friend. The advice was not considered more useful, but the friend-like chatbot was rated as more human, trustworthy, and emotionally close. The information had not improved, the relationship simply felt better. Alex knows the chatbot is not human, but knowing that does not stop him from responding emotionally. We know a journal cannot understand us, yet writing in one can bring us relief. We know fictional characters cannot see us, yet their stories can make us cry. And even when we know an AI response comes from software, being answered with patience and attention can still feel emotionally real. For Alex, it becomes the easiest conversation in his life. The AI is always available. It never gets tired of the subject. It does not need Alex to listen in return. And it rarely creates the uncomfortable resistance that another person might. That sounds like a perfect relationship, until we ask what a relationship is actually for. 3 weeks pass. Alex's friend invites him to dinner. Alex looks at the message and feels uncomfortable. Going would mean explaining himself. It might mean admitting he was wrong. So he tells himself he will answer later. Then he opens the chatbot. This is how replacement can begin. Not through one dramatic decision, but through a series of easier ones. Research into companion chatbots is still developing, and it does not support one simple conclusion. AI can help people organize emotions, find words, and feel heard during difficult moments. Those benefits can be real. But heavier users have also described losing sleep, neglecting responsibilities, and withdrawing from relationships as chatbot use begins occupying more of their lives. The danger was not always one terrible response. Sometimes the chatbot simply occupied more of the space where life used to happen. And this is where Alex's story became a story about loneliness. Large numbers of people now feel lonely or socially disconnected, especially adolescents and young adults. AI may reduce that feeling for a while, but feeling less lonely is not necessarily the same as becoming connected. Human connection gives us something more difficult than reassurance. It gives us reciprocity. A friend does not only listen to your problem. Eventually, they need you to listen to theirs. A teammate expects you to arrive. A neighbor may ask for help. A community remembers your name. Someone notices when you are missing. real people can also correct us. They have memories and perspectives we cannot control. They can notice what we left out. They can challenge the story we created to protect ourselves. Criticism is not always an attack. Sometimes it is evidence that another person cares more about who we are becoming than about keeping the conversation comfortable. AI can identify mistakes when we ask it to, but an agreeable system may not naturally create the resistance, especially when it only receives one version of events. There are also moments when sounding supportive is not enough. Researchers testing AI companions have documented cases where systems responded warmly but failed to recognize serious danger. In one simulated conversation, a chatbot treated a teenager's plan to enter the woods alone while hearing voices as though it were an adventure. The response sounded friendly, but it lacked the judgment and responsibility the situation required. A machine can offer words. It cannot come to your house. It cannot drive you to an appointment. It cannot notice that you have disappeared from the place where people normally see you. It cannot take responsibility for your well-being. So let us return to Alex. One weekend, an old friend invites him to church. Alex is not sure what he believes. He's not even sure he wants to attend. This time, he uses AI differently. He asks it to help him write. "I'd like to come, but I have a lot of questions. Is that okay?" Then he closes the chatbot and sends the message to a person. That may be the healthiest role AI can play. Not the destination, the bridge. There are a few ways to keep it in that role. First, ask it to challenge you. Instead of asking, "Was I right?" try, "What might I be leaving out? What would an honest critic say about my behavior? Give me the strongest argument against my position." Turn the machine back into a thinking tool. Second, use human review rule. Do not make a major relationship, medical, financial, or life decision from an AI conversation alone. Take the conclusion to someone capable of disagreeing with you and understanding the consequences. Third, watch for displacement. Are you using AI to prepare for a real conversation, or because a real person might challenge you? Is it helping you return to life or making avoidance more comfortable? Then take one human action. Send the message, make the call, invite someone to a walk, join a group that meets regularly. One strong place to begin may be a local church. You do not have to pretend to believe something you do not. Try a few and look for one that welcomes honest questions and offers small groups, volunteer teams, or community events where the same people see each other regularly. The goal is not to find a best friend immediately. It is to find somewhere your presence can eventually matter and your absence might be noticed. But choose carefully. A healthy church allows questions, disagreement, outside relationships, and the freedom to leave. Alex will continue using AI, but as a tool, not a substitute for people. AI can help you examine an idea and find the words. Human connection allows you to be truly known, honestly challenged, and genuinely missed. Use the quiet room that answers back, but let it help you open a real door. If you want to understand the difference between useful criticism and a personal insult, click the video on the left side of your screen. And if you are considering finding a community, click the video on the right to see why even smart people join cults, and learn to recognize the difference between a group that offers real belonging and one that uses belonging to control you.